So whenever I make conspiracy theory videos here, I try to at least somewhat back them up with some examples and back them up with some relatively logical thought processes, and for the most part, they're for fun. Do I believe there's skill-based damage in Black Ops 6, for example? Not really, no. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but, you know, making those videos, whenever I say, like, Infinity Ward made the maps bad on purpose to sabotage Treyarch, it wouldn't shock me if that's true. Do I think it's true? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I kind of go about those conspiracy theory videos. And I think doing that is a good approach because it wouldn't shock me at all if any of the things I'm talking about turn out to be true. But at the same time, I need more evidence before I'm convinced, right? I think we all can agree with that, and I think that's how most of us operate here on the channel. Most of you guys are pretty smart people, I think, at least. I mean, you're watching me, you gotta be smarter than most people on YouTube, right? But anyway, I want to talk about this thing that happened to my buddy Nero, and I did some digging, and I found some examples on some stuff, and I truly think he dodged a bullet, and I hope he continues to dodge the bullet. What am I talking about? First, I want to say that I'm not really like super outgoing, extroverted when it comes to commingling with my work colleagues, in this instance, fellow content creators of the Call of Duty variety. I'll be honest with you, I'll see the algorithm push out some video by like FaZe Jimmy Goulash 420, you hitting a triple collateral or whatever, and I'm like, who in the hell is this? And I check and they have like 4 million subs on YouTube, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. I've never heard of them. You know what I mean? I honestly feel like an outsider looking in a lot of these instances, and I'm not sure if that's just my perception of it or if that's how it actually is, but I've always felt like an outsider, an outcast, even when I was like pioneering this back in the day in like 2008 or whatever. I just never felt like part of the Call of Duty community, and I think a part of that is because I've always spoke my mind and tried to give you guys my honest opinion as far back as Modern Warfare 2 2009, when Activision fucked over Infinity Ward and the player base, and half of Infinity Ward quit or got fired or whatever. There was that huge lawsuit. Pretty much ever since then, I've just not really been about this whole thing, you know? Like, I've just kind of observed from my perch, and that's about it. However, a few people kind of sneak into my circle or whatever. Nero is one of them. Nero is a very nice dude. I've known him since Jesus, probably 2017 on Twitch or whatever, when he'd come and hang out in my streams, and I've been a fan of his content ever since. Whenever a video of his pops up, I'm like, I watch it immediately. I never miss one, and I think it's because he's a lot like me in the sense that he's very honest. He's a little less critical than me and a little less outlandish, less of a character, but still the same deal, and I really appreciate that kind of outlook on things. Anybody that kind of does that, I'm a big fan of. I like Drifter for the same reason. I think he's very just honest with their opinions. It doesn't have to match my opinion. I just appreciate that honesty. But aside from that, let me not stray too far from the topic here. Nero was recently contacted by Activision about using one of his videos in one of their like promotional videos for Black Ops 6 or something. And the official Twitter account DM'd him, and he made some videos on this. I'm sure you guys saw him by now, but the official Call of Duty account DM'd him and asked basically for him to sign over the rights for them to use his video in their promotional material. And he made a video on this, and I said, and I quote, and I'm going to show my comments here, not even being a conspiracy theorist here, but I personally would not give them my full name and politely decline. And yes, it did ask for his full name, address, all this personal info. They do some pretty outlandish, creepy stuff behind the scenes as far as keeping tabs on content creators go. I'll tell you all about it in a Discord call if you ever want to know more. I got copyright struck by Activision a few months back, and I could have fought it and got it removed, but it involves sharing my personal info, so I declined and wrote it out. And this is all true, by the way. When I say pretty outlandish, creepy stuff behind the scenes, let me give you guys an example. I partnered recently with SBMM Off, and again, if you want a fantastic Call of Duty VPN, you're on PC, that will make the SBMM bearable, you can use my code in the description. The guy that runs that operation, Carl, really good guy, really nice guy, and I earn commission from that, so you can help out the channel as well as helping yourself out by foregoing the insane SBMM, the casino-based matchmaking, if you will. But as an example, after I'm done with my sellout plug there, if you go to the SBMM Off Discord, Carl will mention all the time how there's Activision people in there. Activision people in there just kind of spying on everything and keeping tabs on everything with this VPN. And I wish I were making that up. And I wish it didn't get worse, but it gets worse. Pretty much there are teams at Activision that keep tabs on all the creators, keep detailed files on all of the creators. If any of the creators basically don't fall in line with their political beliefs or their agenda, or they're too negative, they don't invite them to events, they don't interact with them, they don't give them any sort of clout, they don't do any of that stuff. They don't cross promote whatsoever. I do trust this source that revealed this to me. It's not out of the ordinary for what Activision is doing in the SBMMoff Discord, for example. And again, you can go and search that yourself. Them reaching out to Nero is very odd, because I feel like Nero is somebody like me, where we're on the outside looking in. He even mentions how it's super odd that Activision's reaching out to him to do this and ask for this content, because the videos were pretty negative that he was talking about. I mean, it's like half positive, half negative, mixed bag review, and they're watching this video and wanting to use it for promotional material. It's super strange, considering they've only ever reached out to him once before to offer him COD points back in Modern Warfare 2019 or whatever. So he made this video asking his viewers if he should sign this contract or whatever, what's going on, all that stuff. And someone says this: "Holy shit, Nero. Did you actually read the terms? You grant them perpetual rights to your likeness, voice, etc. It says that it will be used for the BO6 social campaign only, but there is also a reference to sub-licensing those rights with a clause granting them rights to whatever they use, which leads me to believe a good Activision lawyer will basically figure out a way to monetize your channel for themselves. You also agree to no attribution of your video to you or your channel. I noticed that they also ask for your full name and address. I would tell them piss off. Actually, I would just ignore any communication from them." And if you actually read the document, it does kind of say all that. I mean, maybe that guy is reaching, and if you read into this stuff too much and you don't trust the company, there's probably a bias there where you're like, oh, they're going to use this to fuck me over in the future. Could they use it to fuck him over in the future? Absolutely. Will they? Probably not. At least that's what I thought initially. I'm thinking, well, this is all just legal mumbo jumbo. They're just trying to cover their ass in the event that Nero is not happy with how they used the content or whatever. But then I got to thinking, and you can pause the video and read over this if you want, just to really see what's going on here. But I got to thinking, and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, why would they even ask Nero for his permission with this? I mean, I sort of get it. Like, they want to ask, I guess, for goodwill purposes, maybe? I don't know, but he's not in the Activision circle. This is a negative video, and also, technically speaking, I'm pretty sure Activision already has this in some sort of agreement you already signed to play the game, where they could just use anything that's their gameplay and your commentary over it anyway. In fact, they did that just recently, and they did not ask this guy beforehand, and this is just an example, but I'll show you more, where they did not ask the creator of the initial thing whatsoever, and they just used it in the video game itself. This guy on Twitter says this: "My BO3 remaster for Mob of the Dead has been used as a loading screen in Black Ops 6. Thank you, Treyarch." Now, I saw this, and I saw some creators like Milo and Syndicate congratulating this guy, but they also asked if Activision asked permission or even contacted him about this. Look at what this guy has to say. I have to ask, did they ask for your permission for this? Sean says they didn't, but they also didn't really have to. They own the rights to everything created within their tools, including this map. And then Syndicate kind of asked the same thing. Did they reach out to you about it, or because it's their assets, they just used it? GG's. They didn't reach out, but they own the rights to everything made with their mod tools, so they didn't really need to. I think it's really cool regardless. That does just back up the fact that they've got someone internally going, yeah, we need a loading screen. Goes to Google, grabs image, and saying, yeah, that'll do, without even realizing it's not theirs. Regardless, well played, mate. And Sean says, haha, yeah, that's probably more than likely the case. I'm going to take it as a compliment, though, and before Activision realize and replace it. But wait, there's more, and I'm sure you guys heard about this one. This one was making the rounds several months ago, and I'll keep it brief here and just show you the article here. Did Call of Duty steal YouTuber's Brandon Herrera custom gun design? Arena writes, Brandon Herrera, a well-known YouTuber and firearm expert, has claimed that the creators of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 used his custom-designed firearm, the AK-50, in the Season 5 of their latest game without his permission. And if you want to read this as well, it says, Herrera points out the similarities between his AK-50 and the JAK Cataclysm featured in COD Modern Warfare 3 Season 5. It's not just similar, Herrera states, it's a direct recreation of the AK-50 that I built. They've changed the name to JAK Cataclysm, but the design, look, and portrayal in the game are nearly identical to my creation. He goes on to compare the in-game weapon with his real-life AK-50, emphasizing the features that make his design unique and showing how these elements have been replicated in the JAK Cataclysm. But wait, there's more, which makes this not make any sense whatsoever. So, Activision does not like negative press at all. And this is something that's been constant with them. So I can't find the tweet exactly. However, this is on record, and I have many people that can back this up. Charlie Intel, or the guy that runs it, could not attend Activision Call of Duty events for a while because they deemed his stuff too negative on Twitter. I'm not making that up. They banned him from Call of Duty events because he was too critical of the franchise. Scump, I'm sure you guys remember this, and I don't think this is the only time it's happened, but Scump got fined pretty much repeatedly every single time he spoke out about Call of Duty being bad. He called Modern Warfare 2019 the worst COD of all time and got fined. And I'm sure this is not the only time this has happened. So, knowing all of this stuff, guys, knowing all this stuff, why in the fuck, someone please answer me, logically, why in the fuck would they contact someone like Nero, who is kind of in the outsider sphere, who is not associated with Activision? Why are they watching his content like that and then offering him this deal when they've shown before they don't really ask? That's not a conspiracy theory. Those two instances happened within the past 3 months. They don't ask and they just use, man. Now, granted, they have gotten busted before for copyright for like stealing maps, essentially. That happened with 2 maps, I think it was, in Modern Warfare 2. They had to get the actual rights for it because they kind of just took a picture of a location and put it in the game without permission. But for the most part, if it's their assets, they don't ask. And in some cases, they just will take an idea and not ask because they have incredible lawyers. Like, these guys are a $1 trillion company. They do not have to ask a YouTuber to use like a snippet of their video, especially in a transformative work. I mean, we don't even do that as YouTubers. We kind of just use other people's stuff willy-nilly. It's fine as long as it's transformative and you're providing like a commentary on it. So again, this begs the question, why are they reaching out to this guy, asking permission, asking all these personal details, sending him this legally binding contract? It makes no sense. Thankfully, Nero did not sign the contract, and he says he wants nothing to do with it, and he's just going to ignore it. And I definitely think he made the right call. Now, maybe you think we are being paranoid. Maybe you think that, you know, this is just way out of line, crazy talk, whatever, and you're still not buying this. Go to Google right now and type in Activision controversies, and the list is, I mean, it's a laundry list of just stuff that they have done that's been shady over the years. I personally want nothing to do with the company. Anyone that does have anything to do with the company, I would be very careful, and I'm not kidding with that. It's that bad. It's that bad. But let's just take all of that out of the picture. Even let's take the moral parts out of the picture. This is a factual thing, and I'm gonna show you a DM to prove it. It's pretty common knowledge among all of the people that are, you know, in the good graces of Activision. It's pretty common knowledge that if they associate with me, they are pretty much blacklisted. I'm not making that up. I wish I was making that up, but anyone that associates with me isn't in Activision's good graces. I wonder why. You know? What's interesting about this is that Nero is a good friend of mine, and it's very, very clear that we are, you know, kind of in that same ballpark of creators, that we are friends, that we do interact with each other. There's just no reason Activision should ever contact this dude unless it's something nefarious. Just recently, I had a DM with a content creator, a Call of Duty content creator, who is in Activision's good graces. And I'll show you this just to show you what I'm talking about. If you think I'm lying, if you think they're not that crazy, no. They have someone like watching my shit all the time that tries to copyright strike me if I even so much as sneeze a leak out that I shouldn't have out, you know, before like a game comes out. They'll look for anything just to make my life hell, basically. I've had to deal with them copyright striking me a few times over the years. But just check this out. This is a real DM. I'm the one on the right. This person says, Wednesday next week. And I say, that works. I'm not going to get you blacklisted by Activision, am I? Laughing my ass off. This person says, if they can't handle me having someone on, then so be it. So... with that said, guys, I think Nero dodged a bullet. Let me know what you think below. I personally would not sign this whatsoever. With a good enough lawyer, they could do something nefarious, and he has essentially no power over that. And again, it just makes no sense with their track record. Why would they even contact him about this? Why wouldn't they just use it, you know? They steal stuff all the time. They steal stuff constantly. So, and they definitely don't talk to anyone who associates with me, or they try not to at least. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit of a different video, but everybody out there that is kind of in my sphere, you know, stay safe. I wouldn't interact with Activision personally. If they ever ask me to interact with them, hell has frozen over. They probably have a sniper outside the first chance I get to go check the mail or whatever. So, yeah, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.